optimally to support the process of ovulation. To support the process of ovulation. And in fact, after ovulation, as you know that in the during the maturation period, they got married, fertilization will happen, and it leads to carrying a baby in the form of a pregnancy. Birth and child care is another method that is supported by the mammary glands. Ovaries are the primary sexual organs. Sexual organs are two types, primary and secondary sexual organs. If you take the primary organs, what are primary sexual organs in females? Definitely ovaries. What are they? Ovaries. Ovaries produces ovum, which is a female gamete. Several hormones are being secreted by the ovaries. Okay. These hormones are called ovarian hormones. The ovaries are located one on each side of the lower abdomen. Now, each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeters in length and is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus with the help of ligaments. Each ovary is covered by an epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and a inner layer, nothing but inner medulla. Now, this is the external morphology, external features of the pelvis, which shows the reproductive system of females. You can see the pubis symphysis, urinary bladder, uterus, and you can see the clitoris, labia minora, majora, okay, and remaining parts. Each and every part I will explain to you in this video. Oviducts, if you take the female reproductive system, it contains a oviduct. Oviduct is scientifically called fallopian tube. Okay. Uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory ducts. Now, each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeters long, and each fallopian tube extends from the periphery of the each ovary, from each ovary peripheral region to the uterus. Okay. The part closer to the ovary is funnel shaped. The fallopian tube, which is closer to the ovary, is funnel shaped, which is scientifically called infundibulum. What is that? Infundibulum. Here, edges of the infundibulum possess finger-like structures. These finger-like projections are called fimbriae. What are they called? Fimbriae, which helps in collection of ovum after ovulation. Infundibulum leads to a wider part of the fallopian tube. Here in the diagram you can see that is called ampulla. So infundibulum leads to a wider part of the structure called ampulla. Ampulla leads to isthmus. Isthmus is a structure that connects with the uterus. Okay. Now, part of the oviduct called ampulla, I told you already. Last part of the oviduct, isthmus, has a narrow lumen. It has a narrow lumen, and it is joined with the uterus. What is uterus? What is uterus? Uterus is nothing but the mother womb. Is that mother womb? The mother womb is a pear-shaped structure. It's like an inverted pear-shaped structure. It is supported by the ligaments. Okay, attached to the pelvic wall. In fact, uterus opens into vagina through a narrow cervix. Okay, cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal. This cervical canal, along with the vagina, forms the birth canal, Understood everyone? Apart from that, the wall of the uterus has three layers which are called tissues. These are tissue layers. External thin membranous structure is called perimetrium. What is that? Perimetrium. Below the perimetrium, myometrium is present. Below the myometrium, endometrium is present. Okay? So, that lines the uterine cavity. Endometrium lines the uterine cavity. Endometrium undergoes for different cyclical changes. It undergoes for different cyclical changes during menstrual cycle. While the myometrium, if you carefully see, it exhibits strong contractions during delivery of the baby. Now finally, if you take the external genitalia of the female reproductive system, which includes various structures like I told you earlierly, mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, okay, hymen and clitoris. So what is mons pubis? Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by the skin and pubic hair. What is labia majora? The labia majora is a fleshy fold of tissue, okay, which extended down from the mons pubis, okay, and it surrounds the vaginal opening. Now what is hymen? Before that, what is labia minora? Labia minora are folded tissues. What are they? Folded tissues under the labia majora. Opening of the vagina is often covered by partially a membranous structure called a hymen. This hymen, okay, during vigorous exercises, vigorous rapid contractions, during vigorous sexual contact, it may be torn out. In fact, the presence and absence of hymen, it is not defining the virginity of a female. Why? Because the hymen may be torn out during the while playing a game or while running or jogging, etc. Okay. The clitoris, if you carefully see, it is a finger-like structure. What is that? Finger-like structure. Important for matching type of question. Okay. This clitoris is present at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. So above the urethral opening, in between or upper junction of the two labia minora, it is located. In fact, as I told you already about hymen, you can see the diagrammatic representation of mammary glands here. The mammary gland is made up of fat, mammary lobe, mammary alveolus, mammary duct, ampulla, lactiferous duct, and you can see the mammary gland that is attached to the rib, muscles between the ribs, pectoralis, major muscle, okay, and you can see the areola and the tip of the what we can call mammary gland is called nipple. After this, a functional mammary gland is the characteristic feature of the female mammals. After the childbirth, the female's mammary gland is fully functional and produces milk, and these are commonly called breasts that contain glandular tissue. Glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. How many lobes are present? Containing cluster of cells called alveoli. Cluster of cells called alveoli. The cells of the alveoli generally secrete milk. Cells of the alveoli generally secrete milk, which is stored in the cavities of the alveoli. Alveoli opens into mammary tubules. Tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Tubules are joined to form a mammary duct. Okay. Now, several mammary ducts, mammary ducts join to form wider mammary ampulla. Wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to the lactiferous, what is that? Lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Okay. Now finally, if you take the gametogenesis,